Avengers Doomsday, the end of the MCU.
How are you guys planning on beating that?
This is how you end, Tony.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel is going to start filming Avengers Doomsday in less than 2 months, and we finally started getting news on all the characters that are coming back. I've already done a few videos on some of the really big surprises like Chris Evans, Haley Atwell coming back. Marvel has already told us at length about Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom coming back, but more official casting lists have finally started to drop with a ton more.
Pedro Pascal, yeah. So these are the people I believe for Fantastic Four. Tom Holland. Oh shit, Elizabeth. Oh, so she's not dead, or it's probably like another world's version of her. Wyatt Russell. But like, isn't like Secret Wars like the ending of like majority of the characters? Like Spider-Man like is gone, Captain America's gone, I think Thor's gone.
More names, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. It's just getting started. We've also got a bunch of Marvel Super Bowl trailers coming really soon too.
Oh yeah.
But the reason why you've been hearing about everyone from Avengers Endgame, some of the Marvel TV actors coming to Avengers Doomsday, is because they're going to start filming the movie in March, around the time we're going to be getting Daredevil Born Again episodes. Which interesting coincidence, because Charlie Cox's Daredevil is supposed to appear in Avengers Doomsday. Remember way back when we were getting ready for Avengers Infinity War and everybody kept asking the Russos if they were going to include the Netflix Defenders characters in? And they did actually address that after Infinity War came out. They gave a very
Cause wasn't Daredevil, he was in like She-Hulk and shit.
Political answer, but the main reason is the Marvelstudios people didn't really care about what the Marvel TV people were doing, and at that time
it's not
those were
canon.
two completely different divisions. But the reason we learned about Charlie Cox showing up in Avengers Doomsday is actually from his personal trainer who get him in shape for all the Marvel stuff that he does, who just said that he's getting him in shape now for Avengers Doomsday. I am sure his trainers got a very nasty phone call from Marvel after that.
For sure.
Recently, though, an official casting list dropped. I don't know how official this is. Obviously, it doesn't have every single person on it, but it does have a couple really big names. You notice a lot of these names are also attached to teams that we're going to be seeing in upcoming movies this year.
You want to get the Young Avengers, you want to get the Thunderbolts.
Just starting at the beginning of the list here, of course, we have Robert Downey Jr., first person on the call sheet here, coming back as his Doctor Doom, who's supposed to be from this.
What if Doctor Doom goes face to face with Iron Man? And Robert Downey Jr., like just looking at Robert Downey Jr., it got to be some shit like that. Like if it's especially Secret Wars, when they like bring back like another Iron Man, which they're definitely going to do. I definitely would love to see that.
The same universe as the Fantastic Four movie will take place in. Supposedly, we're going to see him in live action for the first time near the end of that movie. We actually should be getting the first official trailer for that around the Super Bowl. Of course, I will do all the videos for that. I'm not expecting him to show up in that trailer, though. But this is also the reason why you're seeing Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach on the list next to him because, like I said, it sounds like they all might be coming to the MCU from that same Fantastic Four universe at the end of their movie. It sounds like something is going to happen to their universe during their movie. Maybe it gets destroyed in an incursion or something happens with Galactus and Franklin Richards, but they wind up escaping to the MCU. Maybe that'll be a post-credit scene. We'll find out. Because they changed the movie from Kang Dynasty to Avengers Doomsday, they're going to have to recast Kang and then wrap up that storyline at the very beginning of the movie. So there will be some sort of tag to completely wrap that up. And
that
then
sucks,
they'll probably
though.
never address it again.
That sucks because, one, I think he was like, didn't they toss out the case? I mean, it obviously don't mean he didn't do it or something like that. Yeah, I think they tossed out the case or something like that. But like he played that role so well though. That's the thing that sucks. Like what he did or what he allegedly did is fucking crazy. But like them throwing out the role completely is kind of insane.
Kind of saw how they're handling this during the What If series, where like they were already using Kang's time chair, but just making it seem like Kang was already dead and gone. Next big one on the list, pretty obvious here, Tom Holland is Spider-Man. Pretty self-explanatory. He'd be one of Marvel's biggest characters. In the original MCU, Tony Stark Iron Man was kind of like a surrogate father to him. One of the big things the Russos talked about was the way they want to pay off a lot of relationships in the previous MCU and what's happening with Secret Wars. So obviously one of the biggest twists of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame was the whole Iron Man-Spider-Man relationship with him dying and then their reunion during Endgame. Then with him dealing with Iron Man's death.
Right.
So they probably really want to hype up the reveal moment when he probably thinks that his Iron Man has come back from the dead, only to find that it's Doctor Doom, who's going to be worse than Thanos in the
That shit's gonna be hard. But the only thing is with it, bro, if you're gonna make Doctor Doom, you gotta make him crazy. You gotta make sure he like doing the wildest shit. Like if Doctor Doom kills a person off, bro, they gotta stay dead. You can't do this shit. Oh, it's gonna come back in a different universe and all that other bullshit. You gotta make Doctor Doom the strongest character. You gotta make him the strongest character. So you got like if he gotta take out like a Spider-Man or he gotta take out somebody, like if in the fight scene, you gotta make sure like Spider-Man can't get up. Like it gotta be fucking insane.
the MCU. That's why everybody's been posting the I Hate You 3000 memes. I fully expect Tom Holland to survive Avengers Doomsday and return in Secret Wars.
Possibly.
In either before or during one of those movies, they will give him the black symbiote suit, like his version of the Venom symbiote.
Yeah,
and they'll try to include some comic book Secret Wars Easter eggs for the way that he
They have to, because like if Tony died and he finds like the little symbiote, that'd be crazy though. It'd be kind of like what Tobey Maguire went through when he started to lose it when he got the powers. I think they definitely need to do that shit. That should be clean as hell.
Originally got the symbiote suit in the 1980s Secret Wars. This is one of the other big things that's going on right now. We've been talking about Spider-Man 4, like Tom Holland is getting ready to start filming that. At some point, like eventually they will start working on that. But currently that movie is scheduled to be released in summer 2026. That could wind up changing because we keep hearing about them working on the Spider-Man script. But either way, it's releasing after Avengers Doomsday, but before Avengers Secret Wars. So there's been all kinds of questions about this. If it's going to be a movie set on Battleworld, like how are they going to address the end of Avengers Doomsday? My assumption right now, just based on what Marvel has revealed, and it sounds like Spider-Man 4 will be a relatively big multiverse movie. Like they want it to be bigger than Spider-Man.
We really need fucking Miles Morales. We really need that movie. I don't know what the fuck happened. And I just need that movie, bro. I need that shit, bro. You told me I was going to get this shit this year. Wait, look, it was last year, right? Because it came out 2023. It was supposed to come out 2024. Bro, I need that movie, bro. The way that shit ended was like beautiful. I just got to see like what happens next, though.
Far From Home. What they might wind up doing is pulling an Ant-Man and the Wasp. If you remember that movie, it basically took place before the events of Infinity War, but the ending of that movie had a tag scene which basically synced it up with the snap, with Thanos' snap at the end of Avengers Infinity War.
He got stuck in there.
So they might just do the same thing with Avengers Doomsday, where Spider-Man 4 takes place around the same time that Avengers 5 is taking place, and then the end of that movie takes place with the collapse of the entire multiverse, and Spider-Man wakes up in Secret Wars on Battleworld. There's been all the talk about the death of the Sony Spider-Man universe. Like, they are definitely going to be rebooting their own Sony universe, like the Spider-Man spin-off.
They were talking about bringing Andrew Garfield
But
back.
I think they want to include Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, during Secret Wars at least.
For sure.
There's all the Noel God of Symbiotes storyline. They could invoke some of that during Spider-Man 4. Like, some things could survive, some plot elements from the death of the Sony Marvel universe. Literally anything else that Sony has done, they can completely ignore. Next big person on the list, though, is Elizabeth Olsen.
Because she's supposed to be dead.
Of course, Scarlet Witch is going to come back. We all knew she was going to come back at some point. You don't see a body, it means she's not dead. There were a couple Easter eggs for that during the Agatha series, too.
That's what I was
but
talking
she was
about.
just seeing visions in her head. Like, she wasn't actually seeing the legit dead body of Scarlet Witch. That whole series was basically setting up the Young Avengers Children's Crusade arc that they're going to be using through Secret Wars and after Secret Wars. Like, it won't complete with Secret Wars. Billy and Agatha going to find Tommy, then eventually they'd learn about what happened with Vision, and then they'd find Scarlet Witch. So, like, it's all on the list that they're slowly going down. We're going to get that Vision TV series next, where they'll basically follow up on that arc.
Because, like,
but
it should have been WandaVision, Agatha, and then I think Vision's going to be, like, the third thing. I think everything's going to tie up there.
When she returns in Avengers 5 Doomsday, she'll be helping Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. And it sounded to me, like the way people were talking about it, it sounded like they were spinning it like the Children's Crusade arc, where Billy and Tommy learn that she's being gaslit by Doctor Doom, and then they try to save her. This also gets into the whole concept of anchor beings that they introduced during Deadpool and Wolverine. That was a big Kevin Feige thing. We'll get into that in a second. Next big person on the list here is Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier, who appears next to all the Thunderbolts characters. No coincidence here, because we heard that they were coming back in Avengers Doomsday. Florence Pugh, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Hannah John Kamen, Olga Kurylenko. So that means that Taskmaster could survive the Thunderbolts movie and come back. We'll see about that. The one thing here, though, that's kind of weird is that Sentry is not on the list here. What that might mean, though, is that Val turns the Thunderbolts into her version of the new Avengers, but they're more
Right.
like the Dark Avengers in the comics, and that's why there's an asterisk in the title of that movie. But the only way to explain that the Sentry doesn't come back for Avengers Doomsday is that he's either dead at the end of that movie, or they find a way to completely take away his powers somehow, rendering him useless to the
That
story of
could
Doomsday
go
and Secret
crazy,
Wars.
though.
So without seeing that movie yet, my early theory is that they keep him alive, like he survives the Thunderbolts.
But would she,
movie,
like,
but
use
they
him
find a
like
way
he's
to
the
take his
secret-
powers away
he's
or
like the
block
secret
them
weapon,
mentally,
though.
so they can always bring him back in the future for some other big story like World War Hulk, but not for several years. Then you have
Oh, yeah,
Chris
'cause Hulk
Evans.
got a
We
son
heard
now.
about him a while ago. I've already done a big video about him coming back, but he's not coming back as his original MCU Steve Rogers or as his Johnny Storm from Deadpool and Wolverine. He'll be an alternate version of Steve Rogers. Most likely on Doctor Doom's team. We've been calling them an evil Avengers team, but he'll just probably have his own team that he's
Like, that-
assembled from the
that thought
multiverse.
process is fire,
Now,
though.
Chris Evans could be playing a version of Nomad. There's a lot of theories about that, or Hydra Captain America. My guess right now, though, is probably Nomad, just because Chris Evans probably doesn't want to play
What if it's like on some shit where like he's like a secret agent, so like he's gone as the Steve Rogers they know and love, but like low key getting intel for like Doom and shit.
an actual Nazi, and that's basically what Hydra Captain America is. Haley Atwell is on the list a little bit lower here. I'm expecting her to show up as a version of Peggy Carter, maybe in flashbacks as reactions for like the Chris Evans storyline during the movie,
Right.
or some scene in the past. I'm not expecting her to come back as Captain Carter. We could see a version of Captain Carter in Secret Wars, just because it feels
'Cause
like
didn't she
Marvel
die?
was really obsessed with her for a long time. Like they turned the entire What If series into a Captain Carter series. But at the end of that, they kind of turned her into a god, so
Then
it
she-
wouldn't really make sense for
Yeah.
Captain Carter to come back. They also killed the one during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So if a version of her
Yeah, that shit
character
was
comes
hard.
back,
That,
it'd
that
have to be
scene,
from yet
that entire
another
scene was
universe.
fucking gas.
Scarlett Johansson isn't on this list, but she's supposed to be coming back. They didn't say who she'd be
I think she's
playing,
gonna be in
though.
Secret Wars,
Alternate
though.
Universe Black Widow or some other character. Generally, I would expect all the original Avengers to come back in some form. But like
Like in a
Mark Ruffalo,
flashback,
for
most
instance,
likely.
he's MCU Hulk. He'll be back because he's still alive and active, just like MCU Thor.
You probably should bring
Same
Scar-
goes for
Scar with him.
Hawkeye. He'll also probably be back, even though he's been recovering from his real life accident. Like it was a really bad
yeah.
accident. But he has been filming
Happy
new
he's still here,
TV
though.
series recently, so he's capable of actually filming the movies, but just probably will not do any of his own action scenes. He'll just
Yeah.
let the stunt doubles do that stuff. Anthony Mackie is next on the list.
Obviously,
His
he has to
Captain
be there.
America will come back. That's
He's gonna
pretty
be a leader of
obvious.
the new,
The report is that he'll be forming a new Avengers
the new
team with
generation, yeah.
surviving Avengers after Endgame and the new characters, and we'll start seeing Easter eggs for that by the end of the Captain America Brave New World movie. We're literally going to be watching that movie in a couple weeks, so we won't have to wait too long to figure out what's going on with the new Avengers during that. Makes sense we would see a version of that team show up during Doomsday. Next big character on the list is Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. They hyped him up as being critical to the
Yeah.
whole plot of the
Well,
incursions during
Doctor
Multiverse
Strange
of
is
Madness and during that
critical.
post-credit scene. So of course,
He's critical in everything though, because he can see things that no one else can see. He literally made everybody forget Spider-Man was Peter Parker.
he was going to come back. I think they're still
That third
making
eye
Doctor
shit.
Strange 3, but we haven't heard anything about it in a while. They didn't say when they're going to release it. Originally, it was supposed to be before Secret Wars. We will see if that sticks.
Yeah.
The storyline that they set up for him during Multiverse of Madness was the idea the Illuminati were blaming him for this. They said that they killed their own Doctor Strange, and then you have Supreme Strange claiming that Doctor Strange was actually the most dangerous thing in the multiverse to the integrity of the multiverse. Not someone like Thanos, not some other grand villain.
Right.
Doctor Strange was meant to be the
Because he can see things that no one else can. That makes him the most dangerous because he can literally tell you how shit is going to go. Like that ability to see into the future and see all the ways things can plan out. That shit could be crazy, especially if the Doctor Strange turns evil, bro. Or
worst
like
possible thing to the multiverse.
he wants it to be a certain way.
So Marvel was basically blaming the incursions on Doctor Strange
Strange,
and a
yeah.
couple other characters too, like Spider-Man during Spider-Man Far From Home because of what happened with the spell. That even though Clea isn't mentioned on the list here, they hyped her up as being so important to that incursion storyline. I'm expecting her to come back during Avengers Doomsday, at least as a small character. Reportedly, Ana de Armas is supposed to be in talks for a role. I've seen people asking if she's going to be playing Black Swan from the Secret Wars storyline. That's totally possible, but Marvel has not confirmed who she's playing. The reason
Yeah,
why
they should keep
people have been
everything a
talking
secret,
about Black
bro.
Swan
Please
is just
stop
because she
leaking
was a
stuff,
big
bro.
part of the Time Runs Out storyline that they're adapting for
I like to
Avengers
see it, like,
Doomsday.
play out on the screen.
Originally, after an incursion destroyed her universe, she was recruited to the Black Swans team, a coalition of multiverse Black Swans who all served Doctor Doom in his quest to destroy the Beyonders, who were the real villains of that storyline. Here's the thing with that, though. I'm not expecting them to include all the stuff from Time Runs Out in the comics, so I think they might cut out the whole part of the Beyonders being the real people behind the incursions.
Right.
So if she winds up in the movie, she could just be playing someone who helps Doctor Doom, the way that
Like an
Thanos had his own
assistant.
Black
Yeah.
Order team during Infinity War and Endgame. A long time ago, all the trades were reporting that over 60 characters would be returning for Doomsday and Secret Wars, so it really makes it sound like every single character.
But it's gonna be the finale for majority of the characters, though. Like majority of characters, this is gonna be Doomsday and yeah, I thought I heard something. Doomsday and Secret Wars is gonna be probably the wrap up of like majority of the characters.
Character is
So they
coming
can
back in
restart.
some way, but that's not every single character. Originally, when the movie was still supposed to be Kang Dynasty and Jonathan Majors and the Council of Kangs were going to be the main villains, the way
Man,
that
that
Marvel
shit
was
would've been
handling
so
both
dope.
it and Secret Wars was the same way that divided all the MCU characters up between Infinity War and Endgame, where not everybody was in both of the movies. I think it's the same idea for Doomsday and Secret Wars, where they try to service all the characters by just giving them smaller parts in different movies, not both of them.
Right.
When it was still meant to be Jonathan Majors' Kang and the Council of Kangs, what they were
Bro,
going to
that
do
shit
for
would've
Kang
been fucking
Dynasty
cool
was
as
have the
fuck.
Council of Kangs come from mostly the MCU Avengers and have it just take place mostly in the
Because like now the
MCU.
scene means
Then
nothing.
Secret Wars would be more of like a true multiverse movie with a bunch of other characters from other universes. My early theory is that it'll be similar for Avengers Doomsday, where Robert Downey Jr. and his group of characters that he brings from the multiverse will mostly attack the MCU. Then Secret Wars will again be that true multiverse movie with like a multiverse Avengers team. So we'll mostly just be seeing a couple multiverse characters and MCU characters in Doomsday. And when we get to Secret Wars, you'll see characters like, say, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield,
Yeah.
Venom, Tom Hardy's version,
It'd be a
original
good send-off,
Fantastic
too.
Four, maybe Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider, a ton of classic X-Men, First Class era
Storm
X-Men.
definitely gotta be part of
Basically
it.
giving all those legacy actors their own version of Avengers Endgame, kind of like a bigger version of Deadpool and Wolverine in the way that it was sort of a send-off legacy Logan-style
that should
movie
be cool as
for a
hell.
lot of those legacy actors. Speaking of which, there has been talk now of Deadpool and Wolverine also coming back in both Avengers Doomsday
Yeah,
and
that'd be
Secret
dope.
Wars. They didn't say exactly how they're going to accomplish the Doomsday part of that
Because
because they
Deadpool
ended
with the
their
Avengers,
movie
bro,
in
it's
the
just gonna be
main X-Men universe.
fucking
so they have to find
hilarious,
some
bro.
way of getting them into the MCU or including them in a tag scene. Probably the easiest way to accomplish that would be the TVA, just because Deadpool is so connected to the TVA now. Next big question is the God version of Loki. Like, when will Loki be back? I know he's going to be back during Secret Wars. We might also see him during Avengers Doomsday, but they haven't confirmed exactly what his storyline would be in Doomsday. Just because you do have to answer the question, if he is so powerful, why does Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom able to actually collapse the multiverse and create Battleworld? Like, why would God Loki allow him to do that?
It probably
So they
has
have
to happen,
explain
though.
how that goes down.
If
There's also that-
if he were to allow it to happen, and that means it has to happen in order for it to still be, I don't know, in order for it to still be kept together, it probably has to happen.
a rumored new version of Black Panther they're supposed to be recasting
In a
right
new
now for Black
universe.
Panther 3,
Yeah.
which might wind up being the older version of Toussaint, T'Challa's son, whose real name is actually T'Challa. They could either be using Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars to explain how they age him
Yeah.
up and they can do adult Black Panther without having to wait for the young actor to just literally age in real time.
That's
or
what
they
suck,
could
though.
be introducing a multiverse Black Panther. I've already done a much bigger video about that, so I'll link it at the end of this. Captain Marvel is supposed to be a big character in Doomsday. I think she's meant to be on the new Avengers team that's being put together. Shang-Chi originally was supposed to be a big character during Kang Dynasty. I think the Ten Rings were a much bigger plot when it was still Kang Dynasty.
There's a lot of people that
I
believe
believe-
that Shang-Chi should be the leader of the new Avengers, which I'm not opposed to. Like, his movie and like his overall backstory is cool as hell. So I think he will be more suited as a leader than the new Captain America, Captain Falcon. I don't know fucking know how they're
The
going to use
original
that.
idea is that Kang would have been the person to create the Ten Rings, and it would have been a big part of them taking him down. But obviously, that's all changed now. 100% for sure, Wong is coming back.
Yes,
Ant-Man
gotta
also
have
probably
Wong, bro.
coming back. And then we have the Young Avengers characters that will also play some small role. I don't think all of them are going to be in the movies. They're going to save some of that stuff for after Secret Wars. We're supposed to be getting Pepper Potts back. They didn't say what she'd be doing, but I'm assuming it'll be similar to the Spider-Man twist where she sees that it's not her, Tony Stark, who's come back. It's someone who's way worse.
Right.
They didn't say anything about paying off Morgan Stark, though. That feels like a big plot thread that the Russos set up that they'll eventually have to answer at some point. And probably one of the other biggest concepts that they'll probably pay off in Avengers Doomsday is the whole anchor beings thing. That was actually Kevin Feige's big deal for Deadpool and Wolverine, where they weren't really sure how to explain why Deadpool goes after this other version of Wolverine in other universes. Kevin Feige told them to use the idea of anchor beings and the whole idea that you kill an anchor being, it destroys their universe. That's basically the role that Molecule Man served in the original comic book, Secret Wars. If he died in a universe, then that universe would die, and it was the same for every single universe. So they might just have Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom come to the MCU trying to kill its anchor being. The funny thing about that is that Kevin Feige wouldn't say who the MCU anchor being is, I think because they hadn't decided yet. And
wouldn't it be Doctor Strange, though? Low-key, it would be Doctor Strange. Because Doctor Strange is the reason they beat Thanos. Doctor Strange is the reason the incursions are happening. It seems like everything is pointing to the directions of Doctor Strange.
They were just waiting for the story of Avengers Doomsday to be done. So everybody, let me
imagine
know
if it's like fucking
who
Groot.
Do you think the MCU
like it's
anchor
just a
being
bullshit
actually
and
is?
it's just
It
fucking
would be
Groot.
hilarious if it wound up being the Rat from Avengers Endgame. But because they did say that over 60 characters are
would be
coming
fucking
back,
crazy.
I obviously only mentioned a fraction of those. So as we hear about more confirmed big characters coming back, I will do more videos. If there's any other big questions you have about what's going on with Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, just post them in the comments below.
Or fucking Rocket.
Really big reminder is that we do have all the Super Bowl trailers coming in a couple weeks. We're supposed to get that first Fantastic Four trailer. We'll probably get a couple trailers for the Disney Plus Marvel stuff too.
Yeah,
and I think they're releasing the
this is gonna be a
Daredevil
big
Born
year.
Again trailer next week. So whenever they wind up posting that stuff, of course I will do videos for it. Everybody click here to learn about that brand new version of Black Panther that they're casting, and click here for that brand new Superman footage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys.
Hey, amazing video. Very, very, very amazingly explained, bro. But I'm hyped for it, bro. This is gonna be a big year. These next 3 years are gonna be big for Marvel. Cause like these next 3 years, because why I always forget his name, but he's with DC now. Why do I forget his name? But like, yeah, with them having him and him being like the creator of Guardians of the Galaxy, and his ideas with the DCU now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it look like they coming. It looks like they are coming, especially with the Superman trailer and everything like that. It looks like they're really ready to like go against Marvel. And if Marvel is doing this to lead to a reset, this could be a time for DC to start to ramp up, build a universe. A lot of people don't like the universe, like how everything like adds up to something bigger in the end, but it's like it works out though. DC needs something. Like they come out with a new Batman, with different Batman every like 3-4 years, different Joker. It's like if you find somebody to constantly be these people, these heroes, and then you start to build it up over time, it's like you're gonna have something submitted versus having all these random movies that don't make sense or don't go together. I feel like it'd be smarter to keep everything together, bro. And yeah.